Hello, trading is closed on September 25th, 2014. I'm Jeffrey Tennant. Yesterday, mejt was calling for an aggressively short position. There were targets of 1990.54 and 1983.10. I said I suspected that if the targets were going to be hit, that we would find out within the first hour of trading, and it worked. As always, let's review the mejt software. Early yesterday morning, before the first hour of trading was over, the software said that ultimately higher targets would print, that there was a strong likelihood of rallying into the last hour, that the price indicated by this yellow line would print, but that shortly thereafter all of that gain, or at least most of it, would retrace. The software not only gave the call, but gave the reasons behind the call. If anyone took the call, he gained over 50 handles, and even if he purchased only one E-mini contract, he made more than enough to pay for the software for over 2 years. Today, the software said ultimately lower prices would print. When we rallied, it said it was false. We hit the target. The drop, the software said, was false, and we hit the target. There's no mejt call for tomorrow. Well, with no mejt call for tomorrow, I'm in the unenviable position of having to rely on other stuff. Let's start with the longer-term picture first. We have quickly taken out the 61.8% level of the recent advance. We did it so quickly and went through it so convincingly, I think it's very likely that we hit the 38.2% level, which is 1948.51. There is a mejt target from August 25 of 1950.25, and I think there is good reason to think that the support under this target will hold somewhere at or just under 1948.51. Ideally, that's the upper end. The lower end is we should not trade under 1928.29 until we get 5 days more on the upside for countdown to complete the sequential sell signal. Ideally, bar 13 should take out the close of bar 8, which is 2010.40. It seems like kind of a long shot at the moment, but I've seen stranger things happen. Well, that's the long-term picture. How about the short-term picture? I never use Elliott wave in my forecast. For one reason, I'm no good at it, and for another reason, there are too many valid counts. I look at other people's work and the counts are all over the place, and I'm not good enough to tell who's right and who's wrong. That being said, I think there is a valid count from the high. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's your A, B, C, 5. Then this obvious ABC up for wave 2, and we should be in wave 3 down. Now, I'm going to say it's possible to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the drop over. I'm not buying that because this would be wave 3. It's supposed to be impulsive, and it isn't. Not to me anyway. Too many overlaps. Well, the obvious call is that this is wave 1 of 3, and this is wave 2 of 3, and we're in for a huge wave 3 of 3 drop. It's obvious, but I don't agree with it. Number of reasons. One reason is we closed at the absolute low of the day after failing to break through the initial low near the close. That's usually a sign that the public is selling with abandon. Typically, we gap up tomorrow to show them who's really in charge. Another reason is if this is wave 2, it's supposed to be a corrective wave. Ideally, it just consolidates or goes counter trend. If it goes in the same direction as the trend, which is down, it doesn't really correct anything. I think it's part of wave 2, but I don't think wave 2 is complete. Anyone who trusts my interpretation of Elliott wave does so at his own risk. But I think the most likely scenario for tomorrow, not based on the mejt system, is that we gap up and consolidate. I think in the longer term, we're not through dropping and not through dropping by a long shot. And that's today's call.